Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky. This is our regular meeting, City Hall, September 5th, 2030 at 4:30 p.m. And we're going to begin tonight. Turn it over to Commissioner Melinda Hill, and she has a guest that she'd like to introduce as well.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my honor tonight. I feel like this man needs no introduction. I feel like he is really the pastor of Bowling Green. Every place I go, I see him there. Last week was a new one for me, even led the prayer at a ribbon cutting in our community. But I am so honored and thankful he took time out of his busy schedule to come and lead us in prayer tonight. So I'm honored to introduce Greg Farrell, lead pastor of Crossland Community Church.
Thanks. Appreciate each and every one of you. Let's go ahead and pray. Father, we love you. We are beyond blessed to call Bowling Green, Kentucky home. In all of Warren County, I do understand that we cannot plumb the depths of your wisdom and your knowledge, but I've got to acknowledge it really is a mystery. But your favor is upon this community, and you are blessing it because I do believe this community is deeply interested in who you are, what you want, and most importantly, in loving the way you love. We do not want to leave people behind. We desperately want to take care of those who can't take care of themselves. We want to provide for those who cannot provide for themselves. We hurt when others in our community hurt, Father God. And I think that's why you're blessing this community. And so may we ever be mindful that true leaders look first and foremost for those who are being looked over, those who could possibly be left behind. And we do whatever we have to do to create environments for them to experience the fullness of their greatness for which you created them. And so I pray for this commission, Father, that you would give them the type of guidance that they need. Your word says that all government authorities are created and ordained by you. So first and foremost, they serve you and then they serve the people. I pray for the people of this community that they would understand that your word requires us, the people, to be good citizens, to follow our leadership, Father God. And lastly, this room is packed today, Father, with the greatest of our community and the ones that are wearing uniforms, that commit themselves, that in the breath, the blink of an eye, that they would literally lay their life on the line without question for those who are most desperately in need. And I think they are the cream of the crop of this community because they do it without fanfare, without applause. They do it because you've called them to it. And I pray that you would bless them. I pray that we would resource them and that you would certainly keep them safe. We love you for your Son, Jesus Christ, because he did come to do for each and every one of us what we long to do for everyone else around us, and that was to die that we might have life. We love you and we ask you for these things in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Everyone turn to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Farrell. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. We'll begin tonight, Mrs. Jackson, with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Beasley Brown. Here. Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Perigin.
Here.
Commissioner Bailey.
Here.
Mayor Alcott.
Here. Mr. Meisel, do you have any comments at this time?
I have a couple, Mayor. Thank you. Just first of all, those wishing to make public comments at the end of the regular session, please sign the register in the back of the room. And then I have a couple of awards and recognitions I'd like to talk about. Is first of all, our Public Works Department received their reaccreditation from the American Public Works Association last month in August, and this is their fifth renewal for reaccreditation that happens every 4 years. So some people don't know, but we're the only city in Kentucky that has an accredited police department, accredited fire department, accredited public works department, an accredited 911 center, and an accredited code compliance division, which is very rare that we have that combination. Secondly, our fire department received their reaccreditation as well recently in Chicago, and they were reaccredited for the fourth time from the Commission on Fire Accreditation International, CFAI, and I want to give special attention to two individuals in those departments. Public Works would be Lizette Garcia. She kind of led the charge on their reaccreditation. And then Elise Yonker in the fire department for all of their work for what they did for their departments in getting reaccredited. So congratulations to Public Works and BGFD for the great work they do. Finally, last week, as you know, on August 28th, we did honor former mayor, commissioner, city police officer, former state trooper, Commissioner Joe Denning, with naming the downstairs lobby the Denning Commons. And there is also a dedication plaque that hangs on the wall now in the Denning Commons, recognizing Commissioner Joe Denning for his 27 years of service to the city, mostly in those seats up there. So wanted to just acknowledge that. Some people may have missed that last week, but it was a special time that we had for Commissioner Denning.
I'm sure Joe's watching now, and I know commissioners up here have served with him. That was a very special day. All of us had some wonderful to say because it was all true. And in Joe's form and fashion, his humor, he had the best, and he will always be forever remembered the mark he made on our city. And we're very proud that we were all part of that celebration. And thank you very much to you and your team, Mrs. Jackson. We know Debbie. Everybody put in a lot of work to make that special, and our gratitude and thank you. All right. Well, what a great way to start with how many departments do we have accredited? I think you said 4. That's amazing in one of the only cities.
Then you've got finance that gets the Triple Crown from the GFOA, Government Finance Officers Association, as well each year.
And that's been how many years running now, Katie?
Yeah.
They just started that program in the last 5 years, so the Triple Crown actually is recognized, and we've been receiving that probably for the last 5. So we just got fiscal year 22 completed and approved with the popular annual financial report. And so we do have the Triple Crown, but we have been receiving all 3 of those awards consecutively at least since the past 11 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you have when you have professionals running your government, and we have a city manager form government, and great tribute to you, Jeff Meisel, and you and your team. So thank you. All right, our first agenda item is our regular meeting minutes for August 15th, 2023.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2023-186.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointment of Caleb Houchin to the position of building maintenance mechanic in the Public Works Department.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Meisel.
As I call Lori Gray up, our HR manager, to present this to you, this is a new position that we created for the FY24 budget for facilities. We gave facilities responsibility over all of the fire stations this fiscal year, and so they need all the help they can get, and fire's working closely with them for the transition, and I'd like Lori to make the recommendation for this hire.
Good evening. I'm here to recommend Caleb Houchin to be appointed to the position of Building Maintenance Mechanic in the Facilities Management Division of the Public Works Department. Caleb is being recommended for appointment, sorry, I reread the wrong thing. Mr. Houchins graduated from Owensboro High School in Owensboro, Kentucky, and attended Western Kentucky University. His most current position was an electrical apprentice with Amtech here in Bowling Green. He is here with us this evening. He'll stand up. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Lori. Caleb, you have any family with you?
Here in Bowling Green?
Or with you tonight?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I have my girlfriend with me.
Please introduce her.
Yes, Sarah Sewell. We've been together about 3 years now.
All right. Good to see you all tonight.
Yeah.
All right, commissioners, ready to make this official? All right, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes, congratulations, Caleb. Municipal order number 2023-187.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointment of Sean Quasney to the position of Police Cadet 2 in the Police Department.
Moved.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
We have gone into continuous hiring mode for the police department, and we've got an opportunity here tonight to bring in someone for Police Cadet 2, and I'd like to ask Lori to come back up and make this recommendation.
Hello again. So I'm here to recommend the appointment of Sean Quasney to the position of Police Cadet 2. He will also be attending Class 6, which will start in October, so you will see his name again in a few months. Sean graduated from Westmont High School in Westmont, Illinois. He holds an associate's degree in justice studies from the College of DuPage and a bachelor's degree of criminology and sociology from Western Kentucky University. His most current employer was the United States Postal Service, or UPS, and here at the Bowling Green plant. He is here with us this evening, if you want to stand up. And if you have any questions, just please let me know.
Thank you, Lori. Sean, do you have anyone with you tonight?
I do. I have my girlfriend here with me, Melissa.
Hello, Melissa. And you're in the Class 6 coming up for our own academy?
Yes, sir.
Well, we're very proud of your application for that, and congratulations for being accepted for both these. All right, commissioners, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes, congratulations, Sean. We're working. Thank you, firefighters. Municipal order number 2023-188.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting the purchase of SCBA fill station for the fire department through a sole source from Breathing Air Systems, Inc. of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, in the amount of $57,851.66.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
As you all know, these SCBA bottles are critical to our fire department, and currently we only have 4 stations that have the air compressors that can refill these bottles, so they have to go back and forth to get bottles refilled. So we're slowly trying to get these at every station. So before you tonight is we would like to put this system in at Station 6 out at Greenwood, which is kind of out there, kind of out on a limb, I guess you'd say, in a way, geographically. And so we went out for bid, and we got a really good price on some refurbished equipment for this at the price of $57,851. This includes the entire package, the compressor, the fill station, the bottles, and all for the $57,851. We got a 10% discount on the compressor. And I'd like to thank Deputy Chief Gillum and soon-to-be Deputy Chief Morris for working on this. This was something we put in the FY24 budget to get this to a 5th station where they don't have to go back and forth so much to get these refilled. So we're hoping to eventually roll these out to every station where we don't have to be swapping them back and forth. So I recommend your approval. And these gentlemen can answer any questions you might have on this system.
Thank you, Mr. Mizel. One question.
I have a question. How much, you said this was refurbished. How much would a new one cost?
I think we budgeted $90,000 for this, but 85. Go ahead.
We budgeted at $85,000. Not all the system is refurbished, just the Cascade. The fill station's actually refurbished, but the Cascade, The compressor is all brand new.
So how long do you think this will last compared to a new one?
That's a great question. So they have a 5-year warranty, and then the refurbished part will have a 6-month warranty. But the ones we have in place now have been in operation for over 15 years, so we wouldn't expect anything less from these.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess just to piggyback on, what Commissioner Hill said, if it was new, how would the warranty be then, as opposed to something that's refurbished?
So new warranty is 5 years, and that's what we have on all the new components of this system. The fill station is the only thing that's refurbished, and it's 6 months. If it was brand new, it'd be a 5-year warranty.
I got you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No further questions? Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-189.
Municipal order approving the promotions of Doug Morris to the position of Deputy Fire Chief, Joe Harbin to the position of Battalion Fire Chief, Chris Bates to the position of Captain, and Kenny James and Dakota Justice to the position of Engineer in the Fire Department.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
So before I call Chief Brooks up to make his recommendations, I'd like to first just thank 2 gentlemen for their service. This all happens due to 2 retirements. One is Calvin Watts, firefighter for 25 years. I don't know if Calvin's with us tonight, but that creates a vacancy in suppression. And then last but not least, we have Deputy Chief Rob Gillum sitting here with us tonight, retired as of last Thursday, August 31st. We celebrated with him and Calvin out at Station 7 Thursday night. And Deputy Chief Gillum has done so many things for our fire department and our city. 20 just rock-solid years for BG, FD, and our community. And I'd like to thank both these gentlemen for their years of service. Now, if Chief Brooks wants to come up and make his recommendation, we have had a room full, had to get called out.
Mayor, Board of Commissioners, last Thursday we did our best to honor 2 men, 45 years of combined service and sacrifice to this city and to the citizens. They've earned it, and we did our best. But when they retire, it brings opportunity. The 5 we bring before you, they stand ready, ready for the role and responsibility that each rank and job asks and require of them. The 5 men, I'm going to ask that they would stand up. Doug Morris, recommended him for the role of Deputy Chief. Joe Harbin for the role of Battalion Chief. Chris Bates for the role of Captain. Kenny James for the role of Engineer. And Dakota Justice for the role of Engineer. All 5 men have a body of work worthy of promotion. These are the 5 we bring before you, recommending your approval. If you have any questions, we can field those at this time.
Thank you, Chief, and I believe there's some families with them, and I'd hate for them to come all this way and for us not to have them introduced tonight. So, gentlemen, if you have families with you, we'd like to have you introduce them.
I'll start. I brought everyone with me, so. Mother, stepdad, my son, my dad, stepmother, and this is my wife and my daughter.
Thank you all for being here tonight.
Guess I'll go next. I got my wife Liz, my 3 kids, Caleb, Cora, and Kinley.
Hello. Hi. There you go. That's the way it's done. All right.
My wife Ashley, my little boy Warren, my stepdaughter Spencer.
Hello.
Girlfriend Sarah West and 2 of my 4 kids, Adeline and Aiden Justice, the twins. My other 2 are down the road. Brought my wife, Lee James. Boys just got to the
Well, thank you for sharing your families with us. Thank you for serving our community, serving our city, and serving nobly as you do. We know when the call rings, you go to it, but thank you most for your leadership, continuation of that leadership, and stepping up to the plate, filling some big shoes that are leaving. And Deputy Gillum, we're going to miss you. Sorry I couldn't make it to your retirement, but I'll come shake your hand as soon as I can, all right? Thank you. Commissioners? Make it official? All right, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes, congratulations. Thank y'all. Municipal Order Number 2023-190.
Municipal order approving rate stabilization agreements with the Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services for insurance rates through fiscal year 2025.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
My computer froze up. So this is a rate stabilization agreement for 1 year with KLC. This guarantees us that our rates won't go up any more than 9%. We chose not to go to the market this year, so this can't hurt us any doing this, locking this in for FY for 1 more year. And so ask that you approve this, and I think Aaron's here, can answer any questions you might have on this with KLC. Dave is here, I'm sorry. There he is in the back.
Hey, Super Dave. All right, Commissioners, we have any questions? All right. This is, all right, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2023-26 is our first reading, it's non-binding.
Ordinance relating to classification pay schedule. Ordinance amending the classification pay schedule G for general classified employees, excuse me, of the city of Bowling Green for fiscal year 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
As Aaron Holsey, our HR director, approaches the podium, I'd like to recognize 2 individuals, 2 key retirements we had in Public Works and Parks. In Public Works, we had Joe Webb that retired just a month or 2 ago. Joe was with us, I think, 30 years or so. And he was known as the guy from the city out on the street. Everybody knew Joe. Joe did so many things for us with repaving, spotting issues and problems out on the street, getting things taken care of, potholes, this and that. And then secondly, we had a long-term employee in Parks. I think Adam probably had 30 years or better too. Adam Butler was our one of our recreation managers, and these 2 individuals were such key players in both departments. When they left huge gaps. And so after they retired, we've met with both Andy and Brent, and we knew we had to do some shuffling of the eggs within the basket, as they say. So we've got some minor reorganizations going on in both departments, which has led to what we bring to you tonight with some title changes. There's 1 reclass here, and then some changes to positions within Parks and Rec and Public Works. So I'm going to let Aaron give you the highlights of this, and then Aaron's here can answer questions, and Brent Belcher and Andy Souza as well in the back. So, Aaron?
Great, good afternoon. So normally we like to do this during a budget cycle, of course, and present all of our changes at what time. The timing of these retirements just didn't make that possible this year, and so we are coming to you requesting some mid-year changes that just couldn't wait until next year. So if we could maybe just talk about Parks first. I kind of referenced when we met last, we did some small reshuffling. I kind of said that more was coming, and that was, we really hadn't nailed down what that was, and we hadn't talked to the Parks staff yet about what we were proposing. So the biggest change that we're proposing here is Adam Butler's position as Recreation Division Manager, oversaw including part-time associates, about 163 employees. Belcher, is that right? Are you here? Plus or minus, and that scope was really huge. Really made up of these divisions that had been combined in the past. And so what we are doing is returning to a separation of a recreation side, and that would be someone who supervises our 3 community centers as well as the 4th community center, which we consider to be our water park, and would also so we'll see we're kind of that we're hoping that that's to provide for growth in the future, and additionally we are breaking away the athletics. It was sports and wellness before, so maintaining all of the athletics program as well as our fitness center, and then also just a small pocket there of our park rangers, which typically help us after athletic events, and so that's why it makes sense for that bubble to stay with that person. So that's the biggest change and the reason for some of the other changes that you will see on here. And we'll be doing recruitment for those 2 positions, recreation manager and sports and wellness manager. We'll be kicking them off and hopefully presenting that to you the next time that we meet. And we will be seeking internal applications only at this time. We believe that the city has talent to fill those roles. So that's the hope and the desire. A small change that you'll see in there, this came as a recommendation from Cameron Levis through Brent Belcher, that the special populations phrase or term is a little bit outdated. So this is just a good time to make those recommended changes, moving to adaptive recreation. And you see we added a position in there in the grade 118, and that's to provide possible growth in that area as well. I think that's the main changes on the parks side. And then moving over to Public Works, we did add a position with the FY24 budget as a civil engineer 1. When Andy Souza met with the staff, they kind of went over a couple of different scenarios, and what was really determined was, as opposed to, they do need an engineer, but what they really need is boots on the ground and inspectors, people looking at our projects, both our CIP projects as well as what developers are doing. And so they have created a different organization within planning and design. And so instead of hiring an engineer right now, they would like to create a career path where they are hiring what was Public Works technicians. We are changing the title to be a little bit more friendly when we go out and we look to fill those positions to Construction Coordinator 1 and Construction Coordinator 2. So a couple of changes, creating a career path, as well as changing the title, and then also upgrading the Civil Engineer 2. It was just 1 grade apart from Civil Engineer 1, so reclassifying that to 126. It creates a really nice, neat career path where someone could essentially join the city as a Construction Coordinator 1 and 119, and eventually, if they're working on their degree and progressing through, they could end up all the way really to City Engineer, and so from 119 all the way to 131, we have created a new career path. So the others are just some title changes. We just appointed a building maintenance mechanic. We didn't love that title, so we've adapted that to facilities maintenance technician 1 and 2 to acknowledge that that is a career path, and that's what we've done within the city. So a little all over the place, but any questions that you have on these changes or recommendations?
Thank you, Erin. Question?
I just want to comment that, of course, all of our departments have been hit by our rapid growth, but I'm super excited to hear about, us investing in our Public Works Department, bringing in more folks on board, because we know how much our growth in terms of construction has just exploded, and we want to make sure that we're providing our citizens and who are investing in our community service that is, there to support that growth. So just wanted to reiterate, my support, and I'm sure the Commission's support of us making sure that we are building a team that can really make sure that we are providing the type of support our community needs to continue our growth.
Thank you. And this is kind of step 1 of a multi-year plan that Andy and his team is going to be presenting to add and reorganize the staff over the next couple of fiscal years to support that growth.
Other questions?
Mayor, when I was acting as interim Public Works Director, longer than I wanted to be, but, no. Katie and I both, we saw the need. There's so much going on out in the community, yet we have our own projects too to get finished and completed. And so we've got our internal CIPs that we put in our budget each year, whether that be a road or a facility or a park or whatever that we have to manage and oversee. But we also have to inspect and make sure subdivisions are built correctly and, you know, pipes are up to standard, and before we accept these subdivisions and these streets that are being constructed. And so we saw that has really blown up over the last probably 8-10 years, and Public Works really needed some more manpower and more horsepower to handle that, because it's coming at them from every direction. And I saw that when I was over there. And so Andy has come in and Melissa and has given her feedback in this, and we feel like this is a good plan, a good start of a plan that we're going to work through over the next year or two, and hopefully meet the demands that are out there with the developers and everybody that's out there. So we feel good about it.
Absolutely. I think the ideal that we have project managers that this kind of maintains in their court, and this is what they can, you know, do at a professional level, as long as it has the mentorship that goes along with it. And that's going to require, you know, the team that has that experience, because the new bodies that we hire, whether they're internal, that's great, but if they're external, you know, they don't have that corporate knowledge, and that's going to be critical to develop. But I like the development of the career paths that you're presenting, and to be able to state that we are a fast, and I agree with Dana, rapidly growing city internally and externally, and that comes with it a lot of challenges. So I understand the need necessary to adjust fire and growth as we, you know, in or out of budget. So I appreciate that.
And if this had been a bigger cost, we wouldn't be bringing this to you, but we thought there's a savings in one department and just a slight increase in the other department. So we felt like we needed to go ahead and do this mid-year. And we, like Aaron said, we usually don't. If this had been more of a significant cost burden, we would have tried to wait, but we just can't wait on this one. So we're going to go ahead and try to move on this with your support.
Thank you, everybody. No more questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-191.
Municipal order accepting and ratifying actions of city officials and executing a grant agreement among the Bowling Green Warren County Regional Airport Board, the City of Bowling Green, Warren County, and the Federal Aviation Administration for a runway rehabilitation project.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Carlos Bailey, second by Commissioner Melinda Hill. Mr. Mizel.
This is a request from Miss Susan Harmon, who's with us tonight in the back room, our airport manager, along with her esteemed colleague, Mr. Joe Tenius, I believe. No? You're here for something else. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Tenius. Okay. All right. So Susan has an opportunity here for a rehabilitation grant from the FAA for runway, and just needs our support to help with the match in the amount of $60,321. And I'll hand it to Susan. You want to describe the project?
Thank you all. Basically, it's a rehab for our main runway 3 and 2-1, and it's a reconstruct lighting, also stripes. We also need also our safety area as well. So it's three projects that they've grouped into one. And as you know, you all do the 2.5%. We appreciate that, and the state does 5%, and the FAA does 90%, and the county does the other 2.5%. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Susan, I know it just didn't tee up. You spent a couple years on this, so we appreciate your due diligence and working with the city and the county, bringing us along and trying to get us to understand this, but thank you for seeking this and getting the improvements for our airports. Great job.
I ditto that. One of these things about basically having these improvements, a lot of people don't realize, they're like, well, we don't have like a commercial airport like Nashville or somewhere else. However, we know that having an airport is important because we know that like some of these businessmen that actually come in here and we're attracting new people or new businesses here, they can easily fly into Bowling Green, Kentucky and basically able to leave as well. So it's important to have these improvements to make sure that our city is still viable. So I appreciate that, everything you guys are doing.
We have lots of cargo that comes in and lots of higher executives to all the businesses that are coming in are already there as well.
Thank you.
All right. Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-192.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting occupational printing and mailing services through a sole source from Thoroughbred Business Systems, Inc. of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Vintage Printing and Distribution Services from Louisville, Kentucky, in the total amount of $52,000.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Sue Perigin, second by Commissioner Melinda Hill. Mr. Mizel.
We have the need to get a lot of printing done for occupational license tax returns and forms. We have been doing a sole source on this, Thoroughbred Business Systems, who also use the Vintage Printing and Distribution Services, LLC, for mailing. And the total of this combined is $52,000. And so we would like to extend this one more year as a sole source. We recently went live with a new occupational license tax software as of August 28th, I believe it was. And so we think there may be some changes to forms and what we're going to need next year, but we would like to go ahead and just re-up with these two businesses to provide for the printing and mailing services for one more year. Next year, we think we can bid this out. So Katie's here, can answer any questions on this. As you know, we're going to have to change out our forms for the 2% rate that goes into effect for the January 2024 withholding. So that's part of this as well. Katie can answer any of your questions on this, though.
Commissioners? Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-193.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2024-06 for cabling and access control from Forefront Solutions, Inc. of Clarksville, Tennessee, in an amount not to exceed $73,972.41.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
IT went out for bid. They were responsible for the cabling and access control for the new Fire Station 8 up at the Trans Park. Bid number 2024-06 went out, came back in. I think we got 3 proposals. This was an evaluated bid based on their proposal, vendor performance, their capabilities, and their timeline, and then 50% of it was weighted toward cost. After evaluating these, IT came up with a recommendation of going with Forefront Solutions out of Clarksville, Tennessee. For the cost was $73,972, but they feel they are the best company to provide this service to us. This handles all of our cabling needs for the wiring of Station 8 up in the Trans Park. Danita Weeks is here, can answer any of your questions on this project.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mizel. Commissioners? Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-194.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2024-07 for Cisco SmartNet from Cytec, Inc. of Fremont, California, in an amount not to exceed $56,472.87.
So moved.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
IT went out for bid on this project as well. This is our SmartNet system for Cisco. And what it does is provides hardware replacement, firmware updates, any kind of resources we may need. We can pick up the phone and call them, expert technical support to resolve any network issues we might have. This involves network switches, firewalls, wireless equipment, security software that makes up our overall IT system network here. This has 40 critical network devices on it that go across the city. So this is one of the most key components of our IT operations that we do. And we bid this out annually. This is a low-cost bid. We got 4 bids on this, 4 proposals. Danita is recommending that we go with Saytech Inc. from Fremont, California, to provide this service for $56,472.87. This was a close race to the finish line, looks like, with them and Volta, but we are recommending we go to Saytech Inc. out of Fremont, California, for this service over the next 12 months. Danita's here, can answer your questions.
Danita, I do have a question. Is there any advantage in rather just having an annual contract for this reoccurring to get a cost savings if we had a longer contract? Or is it something that you just normally do annually?
There definitely could be a benefit to a long-term contract. What we've been trying to do over the last several years is actually cut down on this cost by cutting the equipment that is supported. So when I come in several years ago, we were paying over $97,000 a year for this particular annual contract. And we've really focused on what are the most critical devices. If they go down, it takes down the most people and the most systems. And we're focusing our money on the most important and most critical systems. So that list that we've been sending out for bid actually includes specific equipment with the serial number, and that's what we're covering. So that changes every year. So this one's kind of difficult to do multi-year because we keep changing the equipment that we're covering.
So you're basically in the process, and thank you for dwindling this down to the minimum necessary needs, but that could be something, once you get it to that level, that we could future expand. I would be in favor of that. Once you get it to the ideal, we think this is what it needs to cover, because I think annually going for something year after year, we could go for longer cost savings or better cost savings. I think that'd be an advantage.
So look at that and see that cost. We have cut down more than $20,000 for the last 3 years. So we're trying to get it down to the bare bones that we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-195.
Municipal order authorizing change order number 2 to the contract with Scotty's Contracting and Stone LLC of Bowling Green, Kentucky for fiscal year 2023 street overlay related to bid number 2023-13 in the amount of $44,564.82 for a total project cost of $2,204,796.91.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
This is change orders for the FY23 overlay project. When we awarded it originally, after we awarded it, 2 more things came in. We had a change order back in May for $14,867, which I approved. It was under $50,000, and then we had another one to come in later. It was out off of Pioneer Drive. It's a new company that we helped on Frontier Avenue. That we found out that was a city street that had been abandoned, and so we went back out there after they completed their construction for their business. We went back out and overlaid that street called Frontier Avenue. That came in at $44,564. So you combine that with the first change order 14, puts us at $59,000 for total for these 2 change orders. So we need your all's stamp of approval to go ahead and pay these 2 that have come up since awarding the bid to Scotty's.
Thank you, Mr. Mizel.
Melissa's here, can answer your questions, as well as Melissa Kanzler, our city engineer, and Andy Souza, our public works director.
Commissioners? No questions? Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey. Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-196.
Municipal order authorizing change order number 2 to the contract with American Engineers, Inc. of Louisville, Kentucky for College Street Pedestrian Bridge professional services through non-competitive negotiations in an amount of $9,500 for a total project cost of $56,500.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
So when we went out and got proposal on this one, I don't know that we knew everything that we needed for them to look at, so that's kind of what's happened with this one. But we had a $40,000 contract. We didn't know for sure what we would need as far as their consultation on the structure of it. But we did have a $7,000 change order where they helped us with getting permits from the state, coordinating those that we went ahead and approved. That was the first one. And then since then, we've had another one for $9,500. And this one was due to completing an assessment of their critical components underneath the bridge. And we found out that we needed more looks at that, so that raised the cost another $9,500. Melissa can explain things more adequately than that, but basically we needed additional services from this company, so we ended up at $56,500 over the $50,000 limit that I have to approve. So we need your approval on these two change orders as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mizel. Commissioners? No questions? Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-197.
Municipal order approving a contract through Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract with Boyd Company of Bowling Green, Kentucky for the purchase of an asphalt paver in the amount of $150,900.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
This was approved in the FY24 capital budget, but we have a 2003 asphalt paver that's on its last legs that we need to replace. We found a piece of equipment on Sourcewell. It's one of our co-op, similar to the state pricing contract list. We found one on there from Boyd Company for $150,900. This piece of equipment is very unique. It's a great piece of equipment to have because it's adjustable. It's really cool, I think. You can go from 5 feet width, so you can pave basically a golf cart path, to 30 feet, I believe it is, which is basically 2 lanes. So this is something we can use in-house for smaller projects. We can overlay golf cart paths, which we have. We did some at Hobson. We can do greenway trails when they need attention, go out and do those in-house. And alleys, especially when alleys need overlay after so many potholes and bumps. We did one recently between the bypass and Nutwood. And so those pop up from time to time where we need to go out and do this work. So this equipment, this piece of equipment here is very vital to what operations does on a daily basis. And I'll let Andy answer any questions you might have on purchase of this equipment, but we think this is a pretty good deal, already priced out on the Sourcewell network.
Commissioners? Questions? Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-198.
Municipal order authorizing the acceptance of a 2023 grant from the Kentucky 911 Services Board for emergency communications recording equipment in an amount up to $386,740.26.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
This is a really good grant because no match. This is the E91 or the 911 Services Board grant. We've gotten these a lot over the last year or two, but this is $386,740. This would provide us with a new recording system for the 911 center. The one we have is reaching its maximum data capacity, and this is a critical piece, again, to record all of the 911 calls that come in. And it's an important piece of equipment that we're able to get a grant to replace. So I'd like to thank Nick for working on this. Ashley with 911 is here too. Worked with Nick on this, and really happy to get it. They can answer any of your questions you might have.
I have a question that's related, but Ashley, how long do we keep the recordings, and was there a law that backs that up?
Yes, have to keep them for 2 years. We currently keep them for 3, just in case.
Fantastic. I didn't know that information. Appreciate your team and your work, being the front for all of our city, county, all dispatches that you relate to. People probably don't know in our community, we're the executive agent that takes the initial call regardless of the service, whether it goes to the state police, whether it goes to the WKU campus, or whether it goes to our sheriff department, or our fire emergency, our police emergency, or even our hospitals. So thank you to you and your team, and great work on this grant. Commissioners? All right, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes, municipal order number 2023-199.
Municipal order authorizing the acceptance of a 2023 grant from the Kentucky 911 Services Board for 911 system phone dispatch console equipment in an amount up to $100,800.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
As you can see, they've been busy. This is the second one. This is for, this would get us 7 phone dispatch consoles at 911 center. There is a grant cap max for each console of $14,400. So that's where we're getting a requirement for a $53,200 local match to get this, to draw this $100,800. And again, I'd like to thank Nick and Ashley for working on this one as well. This is a really, really good grant as well, even with the match required. So they can answer any of your questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Mizel. Questions? Great job again. Very proud of y'all. Nick and Ashley, thank you. Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes, municipal order number 2023-200.
Municipal order authorizing the submission of an application for state and local cybersecurity grant program funds through the Kentucky Office of Homeland Security for the purchase of a password management system and security assessment for the Information Technology Department in the amount of $132,400.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
One thing I've always emphasized with our IT directors, both current and past, is our security, and it's number one, our cybersecurity. And Danita's done an excellent job at keeping us safe. This is another step toward that with password protection. You know, there's some people that keep them on Post-its and in drawers and everywhere. I'm not going to tell you where I keep mine. But this would help us with a password management system using a grant. So we'd like to apply for this state and local cybersecurity grant program. It would require 20% match, I believe, to get this, but this would really help with our security, cybersecurity, which is getting more and more difficult all the time. That's why we're pushing this training to every employee that's on our system, and this would be available to everyone that's on our system if we were to get this software. So again, I'd like to thank Danita for working on this, recognizing this is a good opportunity, and Nick as well. And they're here for any questions you might have.
All right. Commissioners? Questions, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-201.
Municipal order authorizing acceptance of West Kentucky state aid funding for emergencies funds related to the severe weather event on December 11th, 2021, and further ratifying actions of the mayor to execute a memorandum of agreement with the Commonwealth of Kentucky Department of Military Affairs Division of Emergency Management for a small business accelerator in the amount of $1,500,000.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
So you all remember that project we were working on at the old Save-A-Lot? That we thought, is this going to happen? Bids came in pretty high. We were $1.5 million short. Well, we found the $1.5 million. Brent and Nick went to work just asking the question to the state, could we tap into the SAFE funding that was provided after the tornado, due to the fact that we lost a lot of businesses with minorities, low-income persons on our two main corridors of the bypass and Russellville Road. And so we think we've convinced them, and we're not stretching the truth here, is there were 90 properties negatively impacted with 127 businesses on them. A lot of those with startups that had just gotten started. And so we are going to be able to get this $1.5 million to put with our $1 million that we put up from the city. The General Assembly had put up $600,000, and thank you to Houchins Industries, who had not only provided the property, but we're going to pay up to $500,000 toward the construction of it. And then we put this $1.5 million, and we get to the $3.6 million that we need to get this thing done. I'd like to thank Abraham Williams and his staff for they've been bulldogging this thing too with the state and with General Assembly. Getting that $600,000 was a big lift, and we got that. And then finally Brent and Nick for all their work on reaching out, asking the right questions, and showing the effect that the tornado had on these small businesses, and why we need this small business accelerator on College Street in the old Save-A-Lot building. So a round of applause for everybody that worked on this.
No, this is fantastic to see more of these dollars coming back towards Bowling Green, and I think that was a good use of effort. And, to hate to see this project fall to the wayside, and you go and rally an ask and find this amount of money. So kudos to you, your team. This is exciting news to hear and to be part of, so thank you.
And definitely to piggyback on that, to generate something to have financial freedom, what it's talking about, especially for like low-income individuals and for all individuals, that give them that ability to step up is huge. Because we know when you generate and you give someone not necessarily a handout, but you're giving them an avenue, basically, where they can basically achieve those financial freedoms. The rate of return is going to be great in the future. And I can't wait to see the businesses that are going to come out of that, because we know once you give people that avenue, they not only become business owners, but it trickles down to their kids. And there's kids. It creates like a generational wealth that we never seen before. And that's a great thing that we're going to see. So I can't wait till that thing gets open and where we start having more businesses for the pop-ups and the business that you guys already have that's going to generate that. So kudos to all involved. Kudos to Katie. Kudos to Mr. Williams. Kudos to Brent. Kudos to Nick. I know you guys are always trying to help out, and that's going to be huge. Even if I'm not here as a city commissioner, I would love to come down there because I want to see what that actually becomes.
Echo those statements. I'm just so excited to see that this project that we've been waiting on for so long is going to get the funding to move forward. And I think it's just, so important that these funds are going to help a lot of those low-income or minority business owners that were, like the city manager mentioned, had the courage and the entrepreneurship to start their own businesses. And we know so many of the former buildings that were destroyed by the tornado, what's been rebuilt, those rents are going to be a lot higher. And so a lot of those businesses that had been there and a huge part of the vibrant small business community along those corridors may be priced out of being able to come back to where they were before. So knowing that we've got, the small business incubator to help as they come back and rebuild and, bring forward their new business ideas and continue to come back after that is just really exciting. So do we have a timeline in terms of when we're going to get these funds and when we think we might be able to start construction? And
So the first part of that is we've already got the money. So that's the fastest way the fastest program the state runs, that's for sure. So we've got that. Now, we will have to bring back with you all really an amendment to the agreement that incorporates these funds, lays out that order. But we've already given the go-ahead to Houchins and Abraham about starting moving forward, continuing with that design process. Everything had kind of been placed on hold just because of the cost. We had a gap in there. Now that we filled that gap, now we can get this going and get that project moving along. So hopefully in the next few months, we'll be able to kick everything off and have a big public unveiling of the project and move everything along some more. Thank you all for your support.
do you know how long it'll take to renovate? Do we have those timelines
I think that
yet?
time frame would probably be 9 to 12 months.
9 to 12 months,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a lot bigger building than what you think. It's about 18,000 square foot, and you're talking about a full top-to-bottom renovation. But also, one of the things about this is we continue to invest in the lower downtown, and we see other investments in lower downtown. We wanted this project to really activate a piece of property that's been sitting there for a long period of time. And as you activate it, you start producing commerce, you start producing activity that generates other things. It builds momentum in that part of Bowling Green, and that's an important part of this project as well.
Thank you, Brent.
I'm particularly excited about the building being renovated. First job out of college was at the, what they called it, the Farmers Market grocery store. And Abraham might remember that, back in 1982. They gave me a job between the meat department and the deli. So it's not just the small businesses and the opportunities, because that's great. That's wonderful that we're doing that. But taking a blighted piece of property that used to be a very vibrant business. They would line right out that door for that lunch in the deli. And so, putting back something that's even better, because it has sat there for a long, long time. And it kind of holds a little special place for me since it was my first job out of college. I realized I was a college-educated person working in a deli, but I needed the job. So we appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, team. Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Bailey? Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-202.
Municipal order authorizing an amendment to an existing memorandum of agreement with the Commonwealth of Kentucky Department of Military Affairs, Division of Emergency Management, to utilize $220,000 of West Kentucky state aid funding for emergencies funds related to the severe weather event on December 11th, 2021 for the future purchase of equipment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. Mr. Mizel.
So I think if you all will remember, we received an initial $900,000 or so from the state funds, and then we went back and asked for an additional $600,000 for removal on private property that Crowder Gulf couldn't get to. And so we had been using this money for almost a year now. We contracted the Bushels and Blooms company. They have been able to get about 100 properties taken care of with that contract. But we're kind of approaching the end. There may still be some things out there that we can still get, but What we would like to do, though, is leverage the remaining funds, which are roughly $220,000 of that 605. We got approval from the state to use the remaining money, if we so choose, if you all will agree, to go out and buy this Caterpillar mini excavator that can do a lot of neat stuff, clearing debris, clearing brush areas, getting into hard-to-reach places, and removing, storm damage or whatever after every storm hits. So we would like to get your approval to go ahead and purchase this equipment, the 220, purchase this Caterpillar 309 mini excavator. It's got a hydraulic bucket on it and all kinds of stuff, forestry mulching head, and it's all ready on the Kentucky State pricing list that we can just go out and get it. So Andy Souza's here, can answer your questions on this. Nick and Brent worked with the state to get permission to do this, and we have the okay from them to move on this if you guys will support it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mizel. Questions? None. Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-203.
Municipal order authorizing the submission and acceptance of a grant application with the Federal Transit Administration for federal fiscal year 2023 transportation assistance under Section 5307 and 5339 programs and approving state match funds.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin. I didn't hear a second. I'll second that. So,
Thinking somebody did.
did you? It just came out simultaneously. I still second it.
So before I go over this item, I'd like to introduce someone to you, Mr. Tim McWhorter. He is our new transit manager with RATP Dev here in Bowling Green. They're our not general manager, but help me, Brent. Okay, management contract.
Tim has been with WKU for the last several years, managing their system, and is now, as we co-purchase this, as we talked about this summer, we co-purchased that with RATP Dev. He's now moved into a general manager role over our system and WKU. So last time you probably saw Robert here. Robert's no longer with us. He's moved on, and now Tim has been promoted into that role. And so we're proud to bring Tim to his first commission meeting so you all can see who is responsible for transit here in Bowling Green now. So if you have any questions, Tim, myself, or Nick should be able to answer them.
So this item is actually our annual FTA grant application for our 5307, 5389 programs, and 5339, sorry. This is application or approval to submit an application and accept an award for these two. The 5307 are formula grants. Part of them are operating, part of them are capital. And so we've received these for some time now, but the 2023 grant for 5307 is $1,545,506. That's for operating and capital assistance. And then we had a capital grant for 5339 for $117,367. For the operating, we have to do a 50% local match. For the capital, we do a 20% local match. And Nick's here, can answer any of your questions on this, and would like for your approval to pursue this annual money from FTA.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mizel. Questions at this time? Tim, nice to meet you, so welcome. Okay, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2023-27 is our first reading, it's non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning tracts of land containing 12 acres from AG agriculture and RM4 multifamily residential to RM4 multifamily residential located at 372, 376, 378, 380, and 384 Pasco Boulevard, 330 Cave Springs Avenue, 1320, 1324, and 1329 Sunway, presently owned by Cave Springs Property LLC.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
The Planning Commission met on August 3rd for this rezoning. 7 of the 8 eligible members were there to hear this case, and it was a unanimous 7-0 recommendation to rezone this property. 12 acres on these properties listed by Ashley just a few minutes ago. Ben Peterson is here, can answer any of your questions you might have on this rezoning.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mizel. Commissioners, questions at this time?
Only one? That's the first time in a long time.
This property was just a little bit different of a situation. Basically, they had old zoning, which was a lot of floodplain that happened to be on the map whenever they developed this property. That has since been properly gotten rid of, if you will. So this would just be changing the zoning from the agriculture that was underneath that floodplain to allow them. They're actually just putting in some more amenities to make the apartment development more attractive. So they're upgrading the property and putting in amenities, but they had to clean up the rezoning before they could do that.
Very nice.
All right, thank you, Ben. No more questions. Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey. Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-204.
Municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement with Bowling Green International Festival, Inc. to lease Circus Square Park and designated streets for September 29th and 30th, 2023, and further waiving the normal rental fees for the rental of Circus Square Park for this event.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Carlos Bailey, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
In your packets, you will see the request from Kim Mason, Executive Director of BG International Festival, for you all to waive the rental fees for Circus Square for our annual International Festival. This year it's going to be on September 30th, Saturday, and they're requesting that we waive the rental fees for Circus Square Park in return for sponsorship of this event. Brent Belcher is here, can answer questions on this request.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mizel. Commissioners? No questions at this time. Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2023-205.
Municipal order approving recommendation from the Bowling Green Area Convention and Visitors Bureau to distribute an amount up to $100,000 of transient room taxes to the Aviation Heritage Park.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
So per section 18, or chapter 18 of our Code of Ordinances, we give CVB the flexibility to use 1% of the 1/4 of the Holiday Inn room tax collected towards special tourism projects. Recently, they came and proposed the one for the I Love BGKY signs last meeting, and I'm going to ask Sherry Murphy, Executive Director of CVB, to come up and tell you about what she would like to do with this next $100,000. Sherry?
Hi. This is actually the third request we've had this year. They seem to have come very quickly after COVID subsided. But I'll invite Mr. Tinius up to join us. I tried to make him sit up front with me, but he wanted to hold down the back with Susan earlier. So our board voted in August to give the Aviation Heritage Park $100,000 out of these funds. And it will go toward some of the concrete work that's already been done, landscaping, sidewalks, some steps, things like that. But I'll let him tell you more about this, but that is our recommendation.
First of all, item six tonight hurt a little bit. You realize how old you are when it's announced that 2 of your former students are retiring. So it hurt a little bit back there with item number 6. On behalf of Aviation Heritage Park, certainly want to thank and show our appreciation to CVB and to the City Commission for this help. We also received a grant at the very beginning of the project to help with site work to start the project, and then we returned to ask for some additional help here at the very end for the final site work. I thank everyone. I gave these to Ms. Hightower. Did everybody get a chance? Okay, I'm not going to read this to you, but just some of the highlights and make sure that you're aware that the park opened in 2009. It's hard to believe that we'll be having the 15-year anniversary next April, but the museum on the grounds will give us the ability to fully preserve and tell the story of local aviators. We have the 8 aircraft on site, but we have also now identified 22 additional honorees over the last 2 years that unlikely we can find an aircraft to honor them, but their stories need to be preserved. And that's what this building will allow us to do. In total, it's about a $4 million project. When we talk about the building itself and everything, all the furnishings, all the display cases inside. We will be having our grand opening at noon on September the 23rd. And then next April, on the 16th of April, the 15th anniversary, there'll be another big event at that time. I know that this comes from bringing folks, that this money is generated by folks coming to town, by tourism. We have partnered with the Red River Valley Fighter Pilots Association, which is a national organization of about 5,000 members. They have an annual reunion every year. Our museum will now become their home. The mezzanine area of the museum will contain their artifacts. Retired General Dan Cherry, who was instrumental in the beginning of this park, Lieutenant Colonel Arnie Franklin, who's also honored the parks, are members of the River Rats, as they're known. And they will be hosting their annual reunion here in Bowling Green, October 11th through the 14th. We'll likely have over 500 or more in attendance. And on April the 12th at 2 p.m. will be the grand opening of their exhibits on the mezzanine level. We think this will not only have a one-time impact on tourism, but throughout the year, individuals, members of this organization, knowing now that this is their home, this is where their artifacts are on display, will come to Bowling Green, and we feel like we will likely be on a regular rotation to host their annual reunion, if not every other year, possibly every third year. So we think that certainly the museum will attract people. The fifth bullet on this handout is something that I think is very important. You'll see that with the new indoor facility, Bowling Green will become one of only 4 communities in the United States to have standalone aviation, automobile, and railroad museums in one community. The other 3 are Los Angeles, Sacramento, and Philadelphia. So it puts us in quite elite company, I think it's fair to say, and will be something that can have an impact on tourism for years to come. So again, today was his first official day. We've hired our first full-time director, Bob Bubness, after 15 years with the National Corvette Museum, and he is off and running with displays and exhibits. But most of all, thank you, the commission, CVB, obviously fiscal court where we were last week. We wouldn't be where we are today without your support, without the community's support, starting with a little piece of land and 1 aircraft 15 years ago to what we're headed towards here in the years to come. So thank you, and be happy to answer any questions, but thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Tenius. Appreciate your update. Appreciate these events that are coming to Bowling Green in the very near, and finally seeing really the vision come to fruition is pretty incredible. All right. No more questions? Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes, congratulations to aviation, so. All right. We are municipal order number 2023-206.
Municipal order approving the appointment of Jason Scott and reappointments of Watheta Buford, Huda Melky, and Clay Smalley to the Human Rights Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. All of these members, Watheta, Buford, Huda Melky, and Clay Smalley, have continued to serve and are asking, and they basically have asked to continue to serve, and I am wholeheartedly support that continuation and recommendation to our commission tonight. All right, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Congratulations and thank you for your service. Ordinance number BG 2023-23 is our second reading, it's binding.
Ordinance closing a public right-of-way. Ordinance approving the closing of an unimproved right-of-way located on a portion of First Street abutting north of Legacy Drive and adjacent to 203 Garvin Lane.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. I think it was the opposite. Hill, and then second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel. And that is,
This is
sorry,
second
I'm
reading.
back. I left there for a minute. This is our second reading, it's binding. It was 5-0 at our last commission meeting. Unless there's any questions or comments. There's none. Roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2023-24. Second reading is binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing 12.42 acres from AG Agriculture to LI Light Industrial located at 0 Whitney Drive, presently owned by Platinum Development LLC.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Carlos Bailey. This was also 5-0 at our last commission meeting. Unless there's any new questions at this time, roll call, please.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2023-25 is our second reading, it's binding.
Ordinance relating to property tax rates. Ordinance setting 2023 property tax rates, franchise tax rates, and improvement assessment rates, and setting forth guidelines for payment, penalty, and interest.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. And I'll restate this because I apologize. I was absent, had COVID last time. Sue was the pro tem. So it was a 4-0 commission at our for the last two, including this one, unless there's any new questions or comments at this time. There's none. Roll call.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. At this time, Ms. Jackson's going to check to see if we have any public comments. Our next meeting will be September 15th, 4:30, right here in the commission. There are none. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are adjourned.
September